Ooh, the framed. Hold on, let me pin you. Let me pin you.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Oh
God.
gosh, it's wonderful.
Mm.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I
Wow, that's
really,
beautiful.
I'm
I
looking forward
love
to
it.
socks. I'm looking forward to not stranding.
Now you need to make some socks like that in that pattern.
Well, they're kind of close. It's got
Yeah, there
lavender.
you go.
Yep. So,
You did a beautiful job.
and
Really
as
good.
my friend would say, better than good, it's done.
Yes, amen to that.
And I love that. I love it with the sort of more solid. I really think that
Yeah.
was classy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Trying to make this full screen for myself. Here we go. Yeah, as I said, I had that yarn. I fell in love with that. It's the blue is Barocco. God, I've got so much. I've got 6. Which one is it?
Yeah, that was pretty good, pretty good.
The color's aquamarine. So, but it's like it's a lot of pale blue and lavenders, not a lot of turquoisey.
So that dark color is our aquamarine, is what you're saying.
No, the in this is the one called aquamarine, the blue.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
then there's
Pattern.
white, and then this is a navy.
Navy. Beautiful. Nice choice of colors.
Yeah.
Really pretty.
Yeah, they were
Classy.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Hey Bev, I'm gonna mute you just for now because it seems like there's a little bit of background, but that's fine, and we'll unmute you when we get there. But since it's 5 o'clock, I'm gonna welcome everybody officially to our Socktober, our first Socktober meetup, our kickoff for Socktober 24. I'm Iris from Cashmere Goat. It's really great to welcome you all into this fun virtual knitting space, and yeah, it's so fun. I see some like a new face, maybe like a face that I haven't seen in a couple knit alongs. Leslie, hi, and Mary, nice to see you back as well. And welcome to Sandra. Sandra, I don't think you've been on one of our knit alongs before.
No, I'm definitely new. I visited the store. I was in Maine last week and had checked it out and saw you had Socktober, and I'm back home now and I'm really excited. So yeah, glad to be here. I'm in Texas, Dallas.
Wow.
Also Texas, how exciting.
Yeah.
Leslie and Sandra. What part of Texas are you from, Sandra?
I'm in Dallas.
In Dallas.
North
And
Dallas.
Leslie,
Yeah, where I'm sorry.
North Dallas.
I'm in like the M streets, Lower Greenville. If you know that.
I was in Frisco for a while.
Oh yeah, then you would know. Sometimes I work from home usually, but my office is in Las Colinas, so I go like out that way sometimes.
Well, welcome. You've joined a good group.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
and Leslie, remind us where you're from.
I'm about an hour north of Austin, so
Okay.
kind of out in the boonies.
Kind of the hill country, huh, Leslie?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful area.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
So fun.
Hi.
Well, we're just welcoming some of our newer faces. Carol, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
And this is, I think, your first knit along with us, yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Where are you joining us from?
I'm at Washington Valley, New Hampshire.
Okay. Awesome. Well, before we're gonna do a bigger like go round and let folks introduce themselves, but I promised that we'd begin our Socktober Zooms with a little time to prioritize any questions that our new beginners might have. So if you're new to making socks and you've got some sort of burning question on your mind, now, not that we'll not address your questions later. We'll of course address everybody's questions, but just want to be sure that we prioritize our newbies and welcome you into the sock knitting fold.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay, great. Good. What pattern are you knitting?
Actually, I was gonna go with the rye, and I had bought the DK What is the name of it? Last week when I was in the shop,
Yeah, the vintage DK.
no, it wasn't vintage
No?
DK. It was, oh, where is it? I thought
Was it the Move? Was it the color changing one called Move 6-ply?
It's out of Peru.
Okay.
And it's
Nano still
green.
Uruguay? No, that's Uruguay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't have. I have it here somewhere. I'll find it.
Don't worry about it. So what pattern did you find? Which did you decide on?
So when I got this and I got home and I started to work it, I wasn't sure I was going to be happy with the thickness. So I had to sidetrack and work with a yarn that I had an hour away from my closest yarn store. And they're not the best, not compared to your place. They don't have the selection. So I ended up going with the Lang magic tweed that I had, that I believe I got from you years ago. And I had got a bunch of the little contrast ones last week.
Oh yeah, yeah, the little bitty teeny weeny
Yeah,
wool.
so I ended up doing the green, the chartreuse, but I only had gotten one skein of this because that's all you had. And I had this earmarked for another project, but I really wanted to add color to them. So I'm going to do the cuff, and hopefully I'm going to have enough to do the cuff on both socks, just to give it a dash of color.
You should have enough. I mean, there's like 44 yards in those little balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the pattern that I have that I'm going to go with, I think, is Sonder Yarn Company. It's basically kind of like a vanilla sock,
Okay.
and they do one that has ribs, and they do a plain one. So I
Great.
think that's going to be my first one.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing. And anybody else new to socks that has any questions or?
Do they really do these on size 2 needles? I'm not sure I can see size 2 needles.
Ready?
I'm on
Not for-
zeros at the
not-
moment.
not
I
for-
use
I'm
one
on
and a half.
ones.
Ah,
Yeah, not for your socks. Your socks, you get a nice, the rye worsted, you get a nice, what is it, size 5 and 7? Is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yes, zeros and ones. Yep, for fingering, sometimes 2s, depending on how tight or loose you are. Yep. So how are you doing, Bev?
Well, I'm still waiting for the yarn.
Oh, right, because, okay, yes.
It went out
Yep.
Monday, so I expect it'll come tomorrow.
Okay, good. Well, if you have any questions between now and then, good. Okay, the rye.
So when that comes, because I ordered the needles too, so when all that comes out. So do you normally swatch for socks?
Well,
Anybody, everybody.
And also, I mean, because once you've knit socks and you sort of know that you're in the ballpark and what needles you might need, a lot of us
Yeah.
don't swatch anymore. And also, Bev, I think that in the rye pattern, they say like you don't need to swatch. Like if you look at their blog post, have you looked through their blog post? I think there's a part where they say like, if you can believe it, we're going to tell you you don't have to swatch for this, which is that's
Because
fun.
Yeah, they had put down a gauge. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So, but okay. So yeah, once everything comes, which I suspect will be tomorrow. Going to
Great. Very
Going to-
good. Yay. Well, you can always call the shop if you're stumped, and I'll be back in the shop on Sunday, but I'll keep my eye on my email, especially tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Great.
And Carol, I was in the Mount Washington Valley this morning. I just got home from vacation about a half an hour ago. So,
Oh, lucky you.
oh, it was beautiful up Route 16. If you haven't been up there, go.
Hmm.
So,
Yay. Well, I see another new face on here. Joyce, I don't know. Have you joined us before for a knit along? I don't know. No. Well,
No,
welcome.
I haven't joined before. Am I muted?
Nope, you're good. You're good. Welcome.
okay.
And remind us where you're from.
I'm here in Rockland.
Great. Awesome. So you're a local goat.
I am.
And are you newer to socks, veteran of socks?
I've been trying to knit socks for 6 months and I can't get past the heel.
Well, we'll talk all about that. Yeah, I brought along my rye sock just so that we could just kind of, for anybody's who's interested, wanted to just, I feel like my biggest hurdle when I was learning socks was I felt like I didn't have the roadmap of what I was doing. And I wish that it had a pattern like the rye where there's that nice, neat little diagram that they provide for you where it's like, you start here and here's your cuff and here's your leg and then here's your heel. And even just some of the terms in that first knitting pattern that I used, I wasn't familiar with. I mean, gusset was a new word for me. I'd probably seen it before, but I hadn't really thought about what that was. So turning the heel, what did that mean? You know, and so I was just felt like I was really blindly following somebody's directions. And what I liked so much about the rye was that you got that pretty clear instruction. And if you're really new to socks, you might just even forgo this garter placket at the front. You could ignore that entirely and just knit plain rounds, you know, or if you wanted to, like you were bored by, you didn't like the look of the garter, we'll go ahead and do ribbing all the way down the leg. You know, it's a nice customizable format, but just, you know, for anybody who's wondering, here's your, what they call the heel flap. And when you get down there, you'll just be knitting back and forth across just your heel stitches. And then you've got, you know, half of your stitches are hanging out and half are this heel. And you've got to fill in the wedge. And the wedge is where you begin to do a gusset, where you start going in the round again with, you know, you've got to pick up your gusset stitches and it'll talk you through that, like just along the edge of the heel. And so then you've got basically the flap plus like these stitches along the side, the bottom of the heel, and these stitches along the other side. And that's when you begin to build that gusset. Whereas you can see there's decreases here. And the coolest thing about socks, you know, again, took me a long time to kind of put this together and knitting a number of sock patterns. And those of us who have knit sock patterns really know this by now, but that the top of the sock and this part of the sock are the same amount of stitches. You know, if you think about the architecture of your foot, if you look at your sort of the part of your foot where the gusset is, it is wider because you've got your ankle back here, you've got the top of your foot, your instep. Again, that was a word that I was like, instep, is that the underneath part of my foot or the top? It's the top of your foot for anybody that might need that vocab lesson. And so that this part is actually, you need to have more stitches if it's got to go over that part of your leg. And yesterday I had one of our local goats who popped in, and she's knit socks before. She actually knit the rye socks before, and she'd cast on for a sock. I think she's using that Hermione pattern that some of us have knit, and she brought it in. She had maybe like this much ribbing, and she was like, this seems like it's gonna be huge on my leg. Like, this looks enormous. Am I going to have to make like a super high knee sock to have this work out? And so we did a little bit of measuring, and I was like, well, let's just, for kicks, let's measure what you've got so far. Cause she did have maybe about an inch and a half going. And I said, let's just lay that flat. And we measured it across. And I think we got like 9.5 inches. So, you know, I measured it. It was like, whatever, 4 1/4 and no, 5 and anyway, it was half of 9, and let's just say it was half of 9 and 9.5.
0.75.
Thank you, Ginny. Appreciate the math fact check there. So so we got that, and I was like, okay, now let's just measure your lower calf and just see where we're at with that, because keeping in mind that often we want our socks to be knit with a little bit of negative ease, like we've talked about, meaning that you're not knitting it to the precise measurement of your leg and foot, you're knitting it less than that. And a lot of patterns suggest maybe an inch less than, some patterns not. I mean, there's all sorts of ways and in betweens, but we measured her calf and it was exactly 10.5 inches. And I was like, well, you've got these great strong mountain climbing legs, because she and her girlfriends, I know, were just on a hiking trip in the presidentials. So I was like, this is, this is pretty much spot on. And then I said, well, but let's just, take it a step further. Why don't you put your stitches on a barber cord and then just let's just slide it up her leg and see, because she was really worried. She didn't want to put in all that time, which I totally understand. She got on the barber cord, slipped it over her leg, seemed like it was pretty spot on. And I was like, and while you have your shoe off, let's measure around the largest part of your foot and just see what we come up with there. Because I mean, often people have the dimension is the same on the widest part of the foot and the lower leg. Not always. So it never hurts to take another measurement and see, because all bodies are, of course, going to have some variation. And it was exactly 10.5 inches on her foot. So I was like, I think it's going to be okay. I think this sock is going to fit your foot. And it was just one of those moments where she just didn't trust it. And I mean, it's always fine to take a pause and take some measurements just to be sure that you're on your right track. So that's a little mini spiel about socks. But enough about that. Let's do a little Zoom intro with all of our fun faces here. So we have met some of our new folks already, and we're so glad you're joining us. It's really always great. And this is such a fun and welcoming group, and we really always like to see some new folks. But let's see. I'm going to call on people just so it's not the awkward, like, are you talking? Am I talking? I'll call on you. And if you really don't want to be called on, that's okay. Just turn off your camera and then I'll know that you are shy to introduce yourself. So let's see. First up, how about Ginny? You're up in my upper left-hand corner.
Hi. I'm Jenny. I live in New Jersey and been a remote goat for a few years. Had the great pleasure of going on the knitting cruise with Iris this past summer, and wish I could do it again like tomorrow. This is probably about my 4th pair of socks. So these are the ones I did last year, and they're pretty simple. It's a cashmerino, which is beautiful, but it's a pattern I had from a Craftsy class with Susan B. Anderson on my first toe up socks. And I like toe up socks. I've done top down and I like toe up. So I'm doing them again. I thought about doing something with a pattern, and every time I look at them, I'm like, I think that might bug my foot. So we're going with that. And I just got this beautiful hydrangea colored yarn that arrived today from the Goat. So I'm excited. I'm doing tiny little swatch just to see, because I have not used this yarn before. So I just want to see. And I think these are 2.25 metric. They're the cubics, the square needles. So they're good when you have real small needles. They're good. They're good for fighting hand fatigue. That's all.
And are you doing the toe up socks?
Yeah.
Same pattern? Okay. Cool. Well,
yeah, I was looking for more in the ones you recommended, and pretty much everybody was doing top down. And I was like, no, I want toe up. So I looked at a couple of toe up patterns, and I was like, you know what? I know these fit. I know they work well, so I'm going with that.
Nice. Excellent. Great. Well, let's see. Next up, I have Pat is on my screen. How are you, Pat?
I'm good, and I've unmuted and hoping that the dogs don't start barking. So if they do, forgive them. So I'm Pat, and I'm in South Carolina. And I've been a remote goat for a couple of years. I think I've done all of the knit-alongs except for the last one that you did on that sweater. There was a sweater. But anyway, sorry. Okay, kids, that's enough. Thank you. I am working on Riley, please. You may have to go to somebody else until I can get
Okay.
him quiet.
All right, we will we'll move on. We'll circle back to Pat once the puppies are under control. All right. So Sandra, do you want to do a little intro for us? Tell us
Sure.
about your socks.
Yes, I am a sock newbie, but I'm excited about it. I had a pattern that I had started a while back and got discouraged. And so when I saw the Socktober, I was like, this seemed like a good thing. So I'm really excited about that. And like I said, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and was in the store last week. And so I have my sock pattern and I have the yarn already. And I'm using a Pearl Soho pattern. It's Socks for Giving. And it looks pretty simple to me. And I actually made a quick run to my local yarn store just to make sure I had like to check on yarn and the needles. So I think I have my equipment right, but I'm just getting started.
Yay.
Yeah,
Glad
thank
to
you.
have you. Let's see. How about Bev next? Heard about you a little bit, but tell us where you are from anyway.
I am from the Scudic Peninsula of Maine, beautiful area. And I am a newly successful quilter after 40 some odd years of trying. These are my very first socks. I have big feet, so I've always been afraid to make socks. And I didn't understand how, the heel comes before the toe, comes before the gusset, becomes, all of that. So I'm hoping that will all make sense in a few weeks. But I'm really excited about it. I chose some gorgeous dark green yarn so that in case the socks don't fit me, they'll fit my husband. So I am really looking forward to this. We rushed home from our vacation so I could be here tonight.
Aww,
So,
awesome. Love having you.
thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. Next up, how about Gwen? Gwen, how are you?
Good. How's everybody doing? This is officially started doing the knit-alongs a year ago with last October. So it's my 1-year anniversary of doing knit-alongs. I'm from New York, from the Hudson Valley. And I chose a pattern that I've had for a long time. It's called Pure and Simple. It's a beginner's lightweight socks, and it's just a very mindless, well, I don't want to say no thought, but not as much thought to it, because I have self-striping yarn that
Pretty.
I figured would talk for itself. So
Great.
So that's what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Glad you're here with us again.
It's good to be here.
Let's see. Up next, how about Mary Ellen?
I'm Mary Ellen from Media, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia. I've been knitting socks for a long time, and I've been doing the KALs since the beginning. For my socks, I'm just doing a plain vanilla sock, and I'm using self-striping yarn, Opal, which I started with a pattern, but you really couldn't see it, so I just went back to plain stock knit. But I like knitting these, seeing you never know what's coming next. But from the finish along, I did finish another bear. So here we go.
Love him.
Oh,
So cute.
Yeah, he was
So-
fun.
oh, I
And if
love
you
it.
like
Is
to
he
knit socks, that's very similar.
very cool? So now we have 3 bears in the trap.
Just
2
2
bears
bears.
yeah. Okay.
With clothes.
Right. One has several outfits, right, Mary Ellen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Love it.
They have summer
So-
attire and fall attire?
Yes, working on it. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, nice to have you along with us again, Mary Ellen. You're a real Goat KAL veteran. You're one of our mainstays, so it's nice.
Thank you. Thank
all
you
right.
for doing this.
Mhm.
I wouldn't do it if
Yeah.
you weren't doing this.
Right.
Aw, so great. We love it. How about Leslie back for another fun knit along from Texas?
Yep, I'm Leslie, everybody. This is my second knit along, so I'm pretty new. And I have my own toe up sock pattern I created long ago because I like to do the toe up socks. So I kind of made my own pattern, and I've started a new little sock toe with some self-striping yarn. So relatively simple pattern. Just gonna watch the stripes appear as a
Is
couple of-
that a cotton yarn? Can you hold up your yarn again?
It is. So somebody tell me how to pronounce this. Is it Lanes de Nord? That I bought it from
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah.
I was like, that looks familiar. Yes.
Yep, that's it. And I've been sitting on it for a while and haven't made my socks yet. So this was a perfect opportunity to do that.
That's awesome, and love that you created your own pattern because you like the toe up. And like you're saying, that's one of the things that's fun about socks when you're working with some kind of self patterning or self striping, or it's just like you sort of feel like you're on the edge of your seat. What's coming next? When will that color come in? And I have a friend who said, her husband likes to watch golf on TV and she likes to watch her self striping yarn self stripe on her knitting. Let's see. Next up, I think I have Julia. You said your screen name says Julie today, but I've thought of you as Julia. What do you prefer?
I prefer Julie.
Okay, Julie.
Yeah,
Great.
I can't escape the legal form of my name, but it's not what I prefer.
Perfect. Well, I've got you as Julie now on my notes. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I wish I were still a local goat, but at this point I'm out by Seattle, and I have made socks before, but I started with bed socks or house socks, depending on your attitude. And I made a pair to give to my best friend for Christmas. I showed them to my mother, who was the one who taught me to knit, but she had stopped knitting by then. And she said, "Oh, I want some of those." And I wound up making, it was either 3 or 4 pair for her. After which I didn't make any socks for a while. But early in COVID, a local designer out here published an Advent sock set. So I made sock number 5 3 or 4 years ago. And it's the only one I've done. So today I'm starting with number 1 in green and white. And before we're done, there will also be a sort of a golden, it's halfway between gold and yellow and white for the other contrast color. And I make no promises as to how many more years I have to go on this Advent set.
I love it.
But I'm doing this kind of, I'm thinking of my mother a bit while I'm doing this because I'm using her size 0 needles and they're older than I am.
Aw, I love that.
So do you knit 1 of each number or 2 of each numbers? 1 of each number. So because they would be purely ornamental. If I get through the whole set, there's no way that any great-grandchild is ever going to get handed them for their feet. And the grandkids have outgrown them already.
You could do an I-cord and make a banner. That would be cute, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a little instruction for doing a little hanging loop at the top of each one.
Really cute.
And I'm noticing where I joined in the round on this one, I have a tiny bit of a hole, and I'm thinking, oh, that's the perfect place to put that loop.
Oh, great. Well, nice to have you along with us for another knit along from the other side of the country. How fun.
Happy to be.
Let's see. Next, how about Mary? Mary, we haven't seen you in a little bit on the knit along. How's it going?
Hi, it's going well. I just am not typically a sweater motivated person, but I love doing the shift. That was the first one I had joined, and I kind of keep in touch with you from a friend who did one of the two of the sweaters. So kind of tracking along with what's been happening. I'm a pretty long time sock knitter, and it's usually my travel project. So I typically have something going on so that if I'm in the car or if I'm on a plane, I can take it with me. And I was just out in Colorado last month visiting my son and daughter-in-law, and I had a pair of socks I had just cast on, and she said to me, oh, those are my perfect colors. So finished those with her in mind, and my son was feeling left out, so I picked up a skein of yarn the other day that's called Wine Country. The colorway is called Wine Country, so I think he will like these. Hope to have them done before the holidays, but who knows?
Can you hold up Wine Country for us? Is that
yeah?
I'm desperate to see it.
It doesn't look that great once I wound it, but it's beautiful because it's got, you know, blues and greens and golds and all the purpley and red colors. It's an alpaca peds sock yarn from up the road from you guys in Northport.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and I've knit with this yarn before, and I do like it. And it doesn't have that much alpaca in it, but it's merino and nylon mixed with the alpaca.
And Mary, you're in Maine, but remind us whereabouts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I live in Yarmouth. So
Yarmouth,
just down by Portland for people who aren't from this area.
Well, we are glad that you're here. I think it's so fun to have so many people that are real like sock enthusiasts and sock veterans along with us, because it's just a wealth of knowledge, and I think it's a great support for our newer folks. All right. How about Kimberly? Are you there? You are. How's it going, Kimberly?
It's going. I decided to do this knit along to inspire me to put on the needles my second sock, because I finished my first sock.
Nice.
So you know how some you get the sockitis. So this is what you call a candy corn sock.
Wow.
And it's a pattern that I got from I have it right here. It's by Louise Albert, and she did it for Biscott Yarn Company. And so this is actually Biscotti yarn that I started the sock with, because that's what they made the pattern for. So it looks like the leg looks like candy corn.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
So now I'm trying to cast on the second sock. And I'm from Augusta, just an hour away from Camden. And I have been the sock knitter forever. And I always look for different sock patterns for different techniques. That my second sock I ever made was a complicated color work sock, and I like doing color work on socks. That's one of the other things, and I like doing different designs on a sock. So that's why the candy corn popped out at me, because it was something unique. You wouldn't see everybody sitting down and knitting something like that. So I always look for the uniqueness in things.
And the candy corn colorway, was that like a yarn that they specifically designed for the pattern as well?
It's part of their, when I saw it in a yarn shop, there were different colorways that had the same length. So it wasn't just for one colorway. It just happened that this particular colorway, it happens to be my colors, but there's another colorway that's all in blues as well. And so the pattern was designed specifically for the sock yarn that they, so it's called Biscott is the brand, and that's their self-striping colorway that Biscotti Yarns has. And so they have a assortment of that colorway, that different colors. And this just happened to be the one that I picked out while I was at the store. I saw a sample and I said I had to do that sock, and that's how that came to be.
So I'm super glad to see you, because we haven't seen you in the shop in a while.
No,
So
I
it's
haven't.
nice.
I haven't been down that way. Not since I picked up my yarn. I actually finished the yarn cruise. I did all 24 stores.
Whoa.
Wow.
I actually did all, and I kept the manual card that I got from the store is actually my souvenir. I never turned it in. So, so what we're doing is my boyfriend did half of the yarn cruise with me, and I did the first half. And so we're making a shadow box of the yarn cruise bag and all the stamps from all the stores that we went to. And he wrote a poem for it. And so we're going to have a little memorabilia thing, because I'm not doing it again. I did it once. I supported everybody's store. I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I'm not doing it again.
Well, good. That's so
we
cool.
did it. We did it.
I love that you're making like a memorabilia. Sorry, Mary, go ahead.
I just was going to say the Biscott yarn, that's what the last pair of socks I just finished. It's really nice. And a few years ago, they had colorways for some of the sports teams. Like I did Bruins socks during COVID for some friends of mine. And it's kind of a fun line to look at. And the yarn is really, it's smooshy. It's really nice.
And it's actually, the company is actually out of Canada.
Okay.
And so,
I bought some yarn from them at Rhinebeck last year when I was there with Alice, actually.
And it's
well,
nice
thanks,
yarn.
Kimberly. Yeah, no, it's awesome to see you, and we love yarn talking. So it's good to be able to weigh in. I'm glad you're along with us as such a veteran as well. So let's see. I think Judy's up next on my screen. Hey, Judy.
Hello, I'm Judy and I'm from Nashville. And I haven't done every KAL, but I've done probably about five or six. And I've made several pair of socks before. And I decided I was kind of impressed with the rye pattern, because you could have one pattern and put it on your computer or whatever device, and if you could customize it for what yarn and everything that you were doing. So anyhow, this is how far I've gotten on it. Let me see.
Oh, love it.
Okay, and the blue is a Baracco, I think it's Lannis. And then the orange is a Malabrigo glazed carrot. I just love the color. And because I usually do things that are sort of dull. And I don't know, I just love that. And then I tried putting striping in the area where you have the, garter stitch or whatever it's called. And it didn't work out at all. So I tried over stitching in between the purl rows, and I decided, you know what, This is not what, this is, just go to the basics. I'm always fooling around with things and then, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
You got to try it, right? If it occurs to you, why not give it a go and see what happens? Worst that can happen is you tear it back out and you go back to the basics.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time tearing out.
Well, I love your navy and orange combo. I think that's beautiful. Nice work and nice to have you back with us. Well, let's see. How about next up? I have Alice Dunsmith, our friend of the Goat and one of our favorite designers. Alice has some beautiful designs. She's got sock designs, all sorts. We've done one of Alice's patterns for knit-along. So welcome, Alice. Glad to have you.
Fun. It's good to see everybody. I am currently working on modifying one of my patterns for a little pair of socks for my grandson who's going to be 2. So I am using my Cherries Pine socks. So he has, believe it or not, been the child who hasn't gotten any knitted thing from Nana. So I decided this was the perfect opportunity to cast on. So I'm using, and Iris, I'm going to ask for your help because my brain, I had a procedure today, so my brain is not 100%. It is On the Round Nimble Sock, and it's that gorgeous green colorway that's escaping me, and I can't find it on her website. But it's that gorgeous green. It may be discontinued. I got it from the Goat.
Yes. Oh,
right? It's not evergreen.
Yeah. It's not evergreen, but
anybody else, it's a good clue for everybody.
I'm gonna just see if I can pull it up right now, but that's gonna be so great.
I just tried to look on her website and couldn't find it. So anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of winging it, and we'll see how it fits that little almost 2-year-old.
Aw, so good. All right, I'm scrolling through our inventory.
I didn't see it when I looked, so
I didn't either. Huh.
I see it on Rachel. I just checked on Rachel's website too because I thought, oh, it must be there. But
maybe it is discontinued. Well,
I will let you know because I will track it down and update next time we get together.
Perfect. Well, Alice was in the shop with us last weekend for our anniversary party, and that was so much fun. Such a good day.
It was great. Super fun. Beautiful shop, beautiful yarns. I thought I had some Nimble sock at home, or Seven Sisters sock at home, and I got home and realized that all of my yarn was plush single or not Karen's yarn that I could use for socks. So
Darn it.
these, and I will be getting some other yarn when I come up next weekend.
Perfect. I just have to interrupt for a minute. We have a few more people but Bev, are you wearing your newly finished cowl? Let me spotlight you so Alice can see.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's a Symmetries cowl.
It is. Alice's
design.
I absolutely love this pattern. It was wonderful. And I learned cables and they came out perfectly. I'm just so happy. It was such a confidence booster. And I can't thank you enough.
Well, that's my goal with pattern writing, is to build confidence and relaxation.
So thank you, and thank you, Iris.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love the colors.
I do too. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So good.
Thank you.
Let's see. How about Joyce? Joyce, do you want to give us a little intro, talk about socks for a minute?
Mute. There we go. Okay, I'm unmuted. So, like I said, I've been trying to knit socks for about 6 months. I tried toe up. I have like 4 or 5 of these attempts because I was using the magic loop, trying the magic loop, and I have like these 3 or 4 of these in different sizes. I'm not a good swatcher, so I just at one point said I just want to get this thing done, and I can't get past the heel. So I did print the rye sock pattern, and I just cast on for the first one to do the top down, and just looking forward to getting through this. Usually I go to the Wednesday evening knitting group, although I haven't been for the summer, but I hope to start back next week. I was in the shop this morning because I won one of the raffles, Iris. That's when we talked.
That's you.
Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I've got the face of the
Yeah.
name.
Yes,
Yay.
I know. And my technical everything is acting wonky, so I'm on my phone, which is really annoying. But I couldn't get Zoom to load on my iPad anyway. So I'm really looking forward to getting this done. I just really want to get past one, and then hopefully that'll help me understand the process. I did the one of the knit alongs, was it Carbeth sweater, which I too tore it out. I finished it, completely finished it, tried it on. It was way too big, so I tore it out. And did it again on, I just finished it, so I'm not happy with one of the underarm seams, so I'm gonna rip that out and try again. But so it's been fun though. It's really gotten me back into knitting. Being able to run to the shop and hang out with everybody. So there you are.
Great.
And I'm here in Rockland. Yeah, I'm here in Rockland. So I'm still trying to figure out how these knit-alongs work. I should be there on Sunday though, to do the in-person, but this is fun doing something online, virtual.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun to be able to do both because, obviously we can't meet all of our remote friends. Sadly, we wish we could. Well, let's see. I've got a couple left. How about Beth? Hello, Beth.
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, yep.
Zoom works better.
I think it does. Yeah.
So I've been doing these for just a little over a year. And I've knit socks before. I chose a pattern that I've been wanting to do for a while called Sprocket. It's by the designer is Pip and Pin. And yeah, this is let's see. There we go. So it's a really easy pattern. The little things that come up in the colors, that I guess that's the sprocket part of it. That's just like a slip stitch thing. So that's real easy. The color changes are really easy. I had been to recently to some I'm from Norristown, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. I went to a fiber festival not far from here and got a mini set from a Pennsylvania dyer. So that's the yarn that I'm using. And the adventure will be she recommends, the pattern designer recommends a fish lip heel, which I have the pattern, but I've never tried it before. So this could be interesting, although she gives like a short row if you really can't do the fish lip thing. And I don't know if anybody here has ever done that before, so because I might need some like help.
Fish lip heel.
Fish lip heel.
It's so I think it's like costs like a $1 or so for the instructions off of Ravelry. It's not the traditional gusset thing. So it looks more like what do I say?
Fish lips.
Yeah. So it's like it comes together like, like this, like a sort of a V, and the V part is where your heel would be. So we'll see. I mean, I've done an afterthought with that didn't use a gusset, but I'll see. It's for like just a heel pattern, it's like many pages. Like she has this whole process about you first measuring out your foot and figuring out where your heel comes in. So I'll see if I have the patience for that.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that makes sock knitting so fun is even if you've knit a million socks, there's usually some new technique that you can try to learn. And I think one of the videos that I included in our playlist on YouTube was a comparison of lots of different sock heels. And I think there's a similar one for toes too. But it's super interesting. And you know what? Your architecture of your own personal foot might lend itself to one type of heel over another. You know, if you have like a wider heel versus a pointier heel. So I just appreciate the fact that there's a million different ways to do this thing that we put on our foot. So thanks for joining us, Beth. Yay.
Yay.
Also, can you guys hear my husband is using the chainsaw coming in and out? Great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're not because it's really annoying to me.
Jade.
So Teresa, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm well, thank you. I'm Teresa. I'm from Pine Bush, New York. I'm about 40 minutes away from Gwen. This is I did the Carbet. That was my first knit along. So, and I've been doing all of them since. As for socks, I'm going to do the rye sock in the DK, and I too have a navy color and an orange.
Ooh, how about that?
Those are your New York
Yay.
colors.
Yes, yes, and they're playing, and they're gonna win.
Let's go Mets.
Orange and
Want to do a striping thing, so I'm gonna try the striping thing, and we'll see what happens. I'm a little concerned now because there were some striping issues. But that's where I am. Oh, and yeah, and this is as far as I got. I cast it on last night late because I wanted to have it on before today, right? So things got delayed. So it's like 11:30 last night. I'm casting it on, and I got through like 4 rows. No, not 4 rows. Yeah, somehow I got through 4 rows, and I had my rib wrong. I had 2 knit stitches together. Out and start over. So I made sure that at least I had 2 rows to start before we got here tonight so that I wasn't like casting on because I hate casting on. So, you know, especially socks and getting them all on the needles. So yes. Other than that, that's where I am.
well, wonderful. Nice to have you along with us again.
You're a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I try and rush out of work to get here, but doesn't always work because of work, but you know. I do my best.
We love it, and it's always just so fun to start to get to know people on these things. And I feel like now I have friends who are all over the place, and we get to hang out and knit on Wednesdays. I'm doing the Wild and Crazy Stephen West sock because I felt like if I was going to promote it as part of this knit along sock as an option, I better be ready to embrace the challenge. And I will tell you, it is the weirdest sock construction ever, and I kind of love the fact that it is entertaining every step of the way. We'll see how much I like it for the second sock. So
which one are you doing? The crazy one.
Yeah, so the color
one.
pop. Yep, color opportunity. Yeah. And this was Stephen's summer mystery sock along. So for every part of this sock, there is a 1 hour long technique video, which I have referred to. You know, like if I come upon something and I'm looking in the instructions, like, now does he mean slip the first one or actually knitting it? And of course, being Stephen, he writes what he wants you to do. But I have the video, so I can go to the video and like skip forward to the part I'm doing and see exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's amazing. So you knit. This leg part is knit flat. You pick up and there's, you know, these crazy welts. There's these chevrons and waves.
You pin yourself?
Oh, sorry. Geez. I always forget that.
That's okay.
In my own self. Yeah. Okay. So there we are. So we've got chevrons, we've got like the feather and fan kind of lace here. This is the join where you're actually kind of binding off in a tubular bind off 2 colors if you want to, which I tried. And then after that's a tube, then you pick up around the top and you knit your ribbing, which by the way, this is on the round nimble sock in that gorgeous hydrangea with tiger lily, which is another one of her amazing colors. So then after that, you pick up for your heel, and there's brioche heel instructions or garter stitch heel. And I decided why not just go for it, do the brioche. Then now I picked up for my heel gusset, and if you, it's a little awkward because I have a million ends right now, but basically I'm knitting my heel stitches around and then like knitting 2 together to join the bottom of the heel to this top flap, which will be the part that goes along the top of my foot.
Oh, goodness.
So the only time
He's crazy.
I know he's crazy. The only time the sock is actually knit in the round is for the toe and for the cuff at the other end. So it's the kookiest thing. And it actually, I was a little worried about it feeling strange on my foot, but the inside is, I mean, there's definitely a little texture, but it's not like, it felt fine, but maybe not the thing if you have any tactile issues or sensory issues on your feet. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing, and yeah, it's entertaining, I guess.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
I thought he was nice and quiet. I was gonna say, it's okay, Riley.
So he just doesn't want to have your attention be on the Zoom.
Well, he thinks he's neighborhood watch, and so he's on the back of the couch at the moment, watching somebody walk by.
How dare they?
Participate.
He's a funny dog. So let me tell you real quick what I'm doing, and then I am doing the grain stitch sock, which is one of my favorite go-tos. I've been knitting socks for 10 years. I've probably got 40 pairs of socks in my sock drawer. I wear them every winter. I love socks. So I finished my first one. And see how it's a self striper, but see how that texture really is fun. So I use this pattern on a lot of socks because it just gives it a little bit of spunk. And when I use a solid yarn, it really gives it a nice little boost. So I'm this much through the second socks, trying to follow my, so I can see if I can get them lined up. I'm getting there.
Good.
So
love it.
This yarn is from String Theory Colorworks called Inertia. I picked it up on the shop crawl. They're out of Illinois, and it looked like a nice yarn, so I ordered it. But I have received from the Goat several lovely pieces from Nimble Sock. I have 2 Nimble Socks in Robin Egg and that wonderful hydrangea. And I have Sea Glass by, I think this is Malabrigo. No,
Seven Sisters.
Seven Sisters, yes. So I'm going to combine them, and I have a pink one in here somewhere. Also from on Nimble Sock called
oh, that's the Himalayan salt.
The Himalayan salt, yes.
Really pretty.
So out of all of this is going to come about 3 or 4 more pair of socks. And that's what I'm doing.
Love that. And good job, Riley, for keeping it under
Being
control
quiet.
there.
Yes, finally when I was talking, he says, okay, I can be quiet, nothing panicking here. So
well, we had I might have mentioned this the last time we Zoomed, but like we had this customer who was talking about how she was too afraid to wear her hand knit socks.
Oh
And I
my.
was like, she was like, I'm just afraid I'll go right through them. And I was like, well, really? Like, did you knit them with sock yarn, you know, where there's a little nylon? And she said, yeah. And I was like, knitted socks feel so good on your feet. And if there's nylon in them, they should hold up pretty well. I actually brought one of my socks this was a color by Seven Sisters Arts called Xanthoria. It's one of my favorites. I just love these like earthy tones I could never wear next to my bright pink cheeked face, but I love them in a sock. And I just use like a little of I think the Yawol twin just as my contrast heel toe. And these, I wear them a lot. And yep, there's a little bit of felting going on at my heel and a little bit of felting going on up on my toe. But this Seven Sisters yarn and also Nimble Sock, it holds up. And I tried to tell this person, I was like, well, give it a try. You know, if you're afraid to wear them in shoes, just at least like wear them around your house. You know, be careful if you have wood floors, but they feel so good on your feet. So don't keep them in the drawer.
I have 10-year-old socks I'm still wearing. So you wear them all. I think I have one pair. I got some yarn. It was a German brand. I can't tell you what it was now. And I made these socks and they're the only ones that wore through on the ball of my foot. And it was a perfect time to learn how to patch. And so I patched them and I'm still wearing them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they hold up. Well, listen, we're right at 6 o'clock and it's been awesome to see all of you. So glad that you're all here, and we're going to do this again next Wednesday, have another meetup. So we'll do a progress report. We'll catch up with our beginners. Yay, beginners. And see where everybody's at next week. So thanks for joining me. Yeah.
It was great to
Happy
see
sock
you.
knitting.
Take care, guys.
Thank
See you
you.
next week.
Good to see you
Bye.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.